Hey everyone, it's Stan with the Credit Frog, and today I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to explain how I use the American Express Platinum Card in my own personal life to get value out of it, and to give you some ideas on how you can also get the most out of this card as well. We all know the American Express Platinum Card with its notorious $695 annual fee, but the value of this card can vary depending on how you use each of the individual benefits. But before we get into the 7 benefits that I maximize on the American Express Platinum Card, I want to mention something that's very important about the way I use this card. A lot of us here in the credit card community repeatedly mention that the best way to use credit cards is to only spend money on the things that you'd usually buy. So if you spend money on a specific benefit that you wouldn't normally use, then it technically shouldn't be considered in offsetting the annual fee because you wouldn't normally be spending money if you didn't have the card. So with these high-end luxury cards like the AMEX Platinum, I personally disagree with this mentality because, of course, I still try to maximize value, but really I use these types of cards with the goal of improving my quality of life. If I wanted to truly maximize value and simplicity, I'd get the Bank of America Premium Rewards card and the customized cash card and be done with it. So let's jump into the list to help explain what I mean by that. The first credit I want to discuss is the $200 American Express Fine Hotel and Resorts credit, and this credit can also be used at the hotel collection. Just remember that with the hotel collection, you have to book a 2-night minimum stay for this credit to trigger. So I found that booking hotels in Las Vegas using the AMEX FHR program is a great way to get value. There are a large variety of hotels to choose from on the Strip, and you can usually get prices around the $150 per night range, excluding resort fees, if you book off-peak, and in my experience, the prices have been the lowest in mid-December. Just looking at the bookings here, you can see the prices here range from $165 per night at the Cosmopolitan, $169 per night at the Bellagio, $220 per night at the Wynn, and $149 per night at the Palazzo. And not only do you get that $200 statement credit, you also get the $100 property credit to use as well, in addition to the free breakfast for 2, which usually is valued at $30 per person or $60 per day. So you can see how the value starts to stack up quite nicely for just this one benefit alone. Just one quick note about that $100 property credit. You can see that the credit at the Cosmo is for spa services, whereas the credit at the Bellagio is for food and beverage. Now, if you go to the spa, then that's fine, but spa services at these properties tend to cost way more than $100, so my recommendation is to always try to go with the food and beverage credit to get the most value from your hotel stay. So the value I get is $200 for the FHR credit, and then from the FHR booking, I get the $100 food and beverage credit, and then I get the daily breakfast for 2, valued at $60 per day, and I usually stay for 2 days, so that's $120. So $200 plus $100 plus $120 is $420 in value. I think we're off to a great start. Next, let's move on to the $200 airline fee credit. There's a few different ways to use this credit, but as a frequent Southwest flyer, my options are pretty limited since they already give you a lot of the typical airline incidental credits for free, such as 2 free checked bags, so let me explain how I use this credit. So I travel a lot both for personal and business reasons, usually at least 3 to 4 trips per month, but I use this credit typically on my business trips, and here's specifically how I do this. At the end of the last workday of my business trips, I head to the airport to fly home. Now, when I book my flights, I typically book the last flight out since sometimes work can get a little busy and I want to make sure that I have plenty of time to get to the airport if I have to stay late at the office. But on some occasions, I finish on time or sometimes even a little early, and I can get to the airport much sooner than planned, so in these situations, I'm able to change my flight at the counter to an earlier flight, also known as a same-day change. The only issue is that after I make this change, my boarding group is usually in the late B group or even in the C group. But when I originally booked my flight, I typically get put at the beginning of the A group, usually between A15 and A30 as an A-list preferred member. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the boarding process with Southwest, there are no assigned seats, and the 3 boarding groups are A1 through 60, B1 through 60, and C1 through 60. A group boards first, then B group, then C group, from 1 through 60 in each group. So what I do is after making the same day change, I purchase early boarding where I can be placed in the A1 through 15 boarding group, and I can still be one of the first people to board the plane. Early bird check-in costs $30 each way, so doing this 7 times will get you that $200 value from the Airline Incidental credit. So just to recap, I booked the latest flight out to my destination, come to the airport early, do a same-day change to an earlier flight, and then use my American Express Platinum Card to buy early bird check-in to upgrade my seat for a better flying experience in the front of the plane. And by doing this, I'm able to maximize this $200 airline incidental credit every year. The next benefits that I'm going to group together are the Clear credit as well as the TSA PreCheck and Global Entry credit. I don't really need Clear since I have TSA PreCheck already, and that works just fine, but since the Platinum Card offers it, I have it, and I try to use it as regularly as I can. Sometimes, Clear can be a faster choice when trying to get through airport security, sometimes it's not. In any case, it's nice to have choices. The Clear credit comes in at $189 per year, but since I'm a United credit card holder, I get an $80 discount off the annual subscription, dropping the price to $109 per year instead. This discount also applies to Delta card holders as well as any United or Delta customer with elite status benefits on either airline. So I get $109 in value from the Clear credit and $20 per year for the $100 TSA PreCheck and Global Entry credit since it can only be used every 5 years. Next up, we have the Digital Entertainment credit, which gives you $20 per month to spend on digital subscription services. For me, I pay this entire credit through Hulu, and currently I get Hulu with ads for $7.99 with 2 add-ons, Disney Plus for $2.99 and HBO Max for $14.99. This totals $25.97, which is over $20, so I'm able to use the entire credit every month. Now, do I use all the streaming services? Not really. I really just use Disney Plus to watch Star Wars shows like Andor, but my girlfriend watches Hulu and HBO Max regularly, so since she gets the benefit, I consider this credit to be valued at the full $240 per year. Next up, we have the $200 Uber credit, which is broken down to $15 per month and then $35 in December. Since I live in an area where there are plenty of food options that offer Uber Eats, once a month I order Uber Eats for pickup and then drive 2 minutes down the street to get my food. In December, I use this credit for actual Uber rides since, as you know now, I go to Las Vegas during this month and use Ubers to get around. Since I use this credit in its entirety, I value this at its full amount of $200. And now we get to the semi-annual Saks Fifth Avenue statement credit, where you get $50 every 6 months to spend at Saks Fifth Avenue. Now, if you know me, you'd know that I'm not really into retail shopping, certainly not at a luxury store like Saks Fifth Avenue, but I found a use case for this credit which works great in my situation. So my girlfriend has loved stuffed animals since she was little, and so I use this credit to get her gifts in the form of stuffed animals. So every 6 months, I log on to SaksFifthAvenue.com and I search for her favorite stuffed animal brand, Jellycat. You can see here that there are tons of stuffed animal options, so I just picked 2 or 3 of them that total up to $50, and that's how I use this credit. By using my Saks credit in this way, I get to use the $50 credit every 6 months, and I also get to give amazing gifts to my girlfriend, which she very much appreciates. Also, don't forget to activate Rakuten when shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue to get those extra MR bonus points before you check out, and of course, check your Platinum Card to see if there's an AMEX offer going on for Saks Fifth Avenue as well. And so I value this credit at its full value of $100. And as a bonus benefit, I do want to make a brief mention about the American Express Global Lounge Collection, since it's one of the flagship benefits on the Platinum Card. This doesn't have a specific monetary value, but since I visit airport lounges at least 4 times per month, this is a benefit I definitely get a lot of value from. Okay, so let's total everything up and see where we stand. The American Express Platinum Card has an annual fee of $695. I get $420 in value from the FHR Credit, which includes the $200 FHR statement credit, $100 FHR hotel use credit, and breakfast for 2 over a 2-day stay, which I always maximize at $60 per day, valued at $120 total. The Clear credit and Global Entry credit gets me $129 in value per year. Again, that's $109 for Clear and $20 for Global Entry, since I can only use this $100 benefit every 5 years. I get $200 in Airline Incidental credit, $240 in Entertainment credit, $200 in Uber credit, $100 for Saks Fifth Avenue, and I frequently use airport lounges, even though there isn't a specific monetary value attached to this benefit. In total, this equals $1,289 in value on the Platinum Card, and subtracting the $695 annual fee, this equals $594 in net positive value plus access to the best airport lounge network. So these are the 7 benefits I use to get the most value out of my AMEX Platinum Card. And these are some strategies that you can use to get the most value out of your own AMEX Platinum Card as well. And if you want to get even more value, check out this video here to learn more about the Morgan Stanley version of the AMEX Platinum Card.